Guys, so this is my first live I'm doing, and it's not the purpose of being live, it's the purpose of being it's for convenience purposes. I don't know if anyone is even gonna show up, but this is a VR to Sylvain's Deadly Sins. A lot of people are doing hashtag 7 decks for Deadly Sins. Um and I don't know, I thought this was fun, this was interesting to think about. And so this is my take on it. And I believe this is supposed to be in landscape, but it's turning out to be in portrait mode. So I guess I'll do it like this. Okay. All right. So for me, I am going to start off. So we got 7 Deadly Sins. So let's do Pride. So this is a deck I purchased or use for flexing. So I don't really purchase decks for flexing, but there is a deck that I know people really like to. I know I'm gonna get a strong response from them because of the gold foiling. Everyone think this is such a pretty deck. Especially I guess I do use this to flex for people who I am reading for, the Golden Art Nouveau. It just grabs your attention. And I can see this easily putting this in the lust category for this tag, but I went for pride because this deck, I mean, it's literally just shining at you to look at it. And this deck is actually honestly relatively easy for me to read because it's pretty true to the RWS. So that is my pride. And try to do this a little quickly. Now for greed, this one was interesting. Greed, a deck you don't share with anyone or only use for yourself. So I did use this once for someone else, but after that I did not use it. And the deck is the Botanical deck by Jessica Bott. This deck, after that one reading, which didn't go really that well, I really have only used it for myself. I really have only used it for myself. And this is like a tarot slash oracle deck. And I actually did, I finally finished edging this nice metallic purple. But this deck, I solely use it for my botanical studies. I tried to use it in a reading for someone else once. It just didn't work quite well. I don't know, maybe you guys have your own experiences maybe you guys want to share in the comments down below. If you guys ever use like a botanical deck in client readings, I don't know, I find it difficult. So I really only use this for myself, and it's just such a beautiful deck. Not a fan of vector art, but I really appreciate it in this deck. So this is my great deck. Such a clever, witty deck. And she came out with some other decks too, but I haven't purchased them. I just don't feel gravitating towards any of them. I believe it's the Phenomena Oracle, which really does have a cool concept, but I just didn't end up getting that. All right, so next deck is, or next sin is Wrath. A deck that I'm angry at. Okay, so this deck, um, this deck is a a recent purchase, and it's a mass market version of the Relative Tarot. So I really am into my ancestral work, probably also my past life work recently. I've been more and more into. And I really wanted this deck to work for me. Now, I immediately knew when I saw the images on Amazon of the cards, the borders. I wonder if this book actually has. Yeah, so the cards, they have these borders like this. And I'm not too huge of a fan of borders. I usually end up modding it and trimming it and edging it. So I definitely knew when I saw this, oh, I'm definitely going to have to trim this deck because these borders are way too thick for me. So I did. And why I'm angry at this deck is because guys, this deck took forever. These were not printed that precisely. So some of like the top borders were thinner or wider than the other cards, and I did not know. And so after seeing it and wondering why is there this sliver of border on this one card, I literally, if you guys have ever had to edge, you literally have to first trim that smallest card, and then correspondingly the other cards you have to trim to that exact same size. And I had to do this literally like 4 times, and I've never in my life trimmed a deck that that difficult. And so I just got really annoyed with modding this deck. So this is kind of like a difficult mod slash wrath deck for me, which is relative tarot. But you know, obviously after all it's done, it's a beautiful deck. So I ended up using this for I'm gonna solely use it for my past life readings because I think it just ends up reading better for past life for me. So that is my wrath deck. Okay, so on to the next deck, sinful deck, is Envy. So it's a deck I wanted because other people had it. And this is a deck that probably everyone in this community knows, and that is the Wild Unknown. So I, for a long time, never understood why so many people had this deck. I really didn't understand the simplicity of the deck. I didn't understand I just didn't understand the hype. And the Wild Unknown has had a huge high in popularity for a long time. It's definitely had its long moment of it. And I really, solely really just got this deck because other people had it. And I went, okay, well, there must be something to this deck. I guess I'll just give it a try, right? And after many tries and many videos on YouTube of this deck, I ended up moderately being able to read with it. I mainly do use it for like shadow work or lunar readings and stuff like that. Um, but really, initially, I got this deck because so many people had it, so many people used it. So that is my Envy deck. All right, the Wild Unknown. Okay. Next up is Lust. A deck you like for aesthetic reasons. So this is a deck that actually pulled recently to use for a chakra class. And it is the Margaret Peterson. I think this is one of the most aesthetic, beautiful decks that I have. Um, it's literally art just on cards. Literally just paintings on cards. And not that other decks aren't art in their own way, but in just that traditional fine art type of meaning, this deck is just hashtag aesthetics. Um, and this deck is also very stilling, right? You know, when you look at these cards, they're very stilling. I recently also tried to use this in a reading for someone, and if I really do pay attention to the artwork, I this deck just makes me not want to speak. It makes me not want to really say much verbally. I would have to literally ignore the artwork and just read based on which card it is, like the Ace of Coins. So I gave up on using this to read for other people. And just pull this out once in a blue moon just to really just look at it. And I think it's good to have on your altar too. It's just really pretty to look at. And I probably need to do work more with this just to see how it really will work for me. But that is my lust, definitely my lust aesthetic deck, the Margaret Peterson. All right. So, second to last sin is Gluttony, a deck you really didn't need but purchase anyway. So this one's funny. So who needs another RWS deck? I don't. But I bought this deck. And this is the Trip and Wait Tarot. Um, And this is so funny because this deck was available for a while in the bordered version, and I saw that there was actually a borderless version that was coming, so that's how I got this deck. But do I really need another RWS? Like, I was trying to, convince myself like, oh, well, the coloring is different. Um, the Hierophant in this card is called the Guru. There's some changes here, but really, I don't feel the coloring really adds much difference for me to the deck. I think it is more prettier to look at than just the traditional RWS, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't like this deck at all. That's not what I'm saying, but it's just not a deck that I really needed, but I just got. Um, yeah. Guys, yeah, that's what we do when we yeah are into tarot. Okay, so last but not least, is Sloth, a deck you use when you feel lazy. So it's actually two decks, guys, and I'm gonna answer um this one in two different ways actually. So if I'm reading for myself and I'm lazy, I'm tired, I just want a really quick answer to something, I'm gonna I'm gonna fish out the borderless centennial. Um, I'm just so familiar with the imagery. It's like I just know what it's telling me right there, right there. I really don't have patience when I'm lazy, so this is what I use for myself. Now, if I feel lazy for reading for other people, I tend to also use this, yes, but I tend to use the Pixies Astounding Lenormand. I feel like a lot of people in readings, they want yes or no questions, and I can just draw three cards from here, and through their meanings, I can definitely just quickly tell them yes, no, possibly. Um, I can also just use this for a lot of times people want readings for practical things, for love and career and such. So this deck is, I mean, Lenormand in general is great for that, but I this is the deck specifically that I use when I feel lazy reading for other people, and it's quick, it's efficient, and yeah. All right, so that was, guys, my really spontaneous, quick 7 decks for Deadly Sins VR. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, that's all. All right, take care.